Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from Mail Fuzz TV. I am Peter, and also with me is Matt.
Shambles.
Do you know what? You say that, Matt, but on take one where we had a 10-minute wasted recording, this is actually higher energy. I've warmed you up. This was my genius master plan to get you in the mood. Connor's also here.
You're such a liar.
I'm still here.
I mean, Connor's not changed, but Matt's warmed up. This was genius for Matt's side of things. So,
well, also the Mountain Dew that I'm drinking might have kicked in. So
that's also true.
Caffeine's a hell of a thing.
Caffeine is a hell of a thing. So yeah, I'll tell you what's coming up in this week's show. I've actually already minimised that because I've done it already. Coming up on this week's show, we have The Flash 64, Detective Comics 998, Superman issue 8, Wonder Woman 64, Supergirl 27, Justice League Dark number 8, The Batman Who Laughs number 3, Titans 34, Hawkman number 9, and finally the first issue in the new miniseries Wonder Twins issue 1. So that's what's coming up on the show. Plus some news, because there's some news this week to talk about. So yeah, if that's already quick, it's because we did that already, so I'm moving a little bit quicker.
You know, I just saw Happy Death Day 2 last night, and I feel like I'm really old.
Yeah, the only thing we really talked about so far was Deceased and the lack of the news that we thought we were going to have about it, because despite the fact that it seemed like Tom Taylor was building up to something for the middle of the week, everything went quiet after that.
Yeah, basically, what it boils down to is we'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week. But Deceased is a thing, spelt with a DC and an East. There's been some teaser art from Trevor Hairsine. Taylor's been dropping all these cryptic quotes this week, trying to build it up. It's been very funny. We talked about how amusing the marketing was and how he was being funny and responding to tweets in a very witty way. It was all very amusing. But we'll sum it up a little bit so as not to talk about it again.
I just realized, Trevor Hairsine, is that the Lemire's Animal Man artist?
No, that's Trevor Foreman?
That's Trevor Foreman. Okay.
Yeah, Foreman.
Hairsine. Okay.
I think I know him from a lot of classic Star Wars stuff, if I'm recalling right.
Every time there's an artist that we don't know what Connor does, it's always a Star Wars thing.
Well, I mean, that's his brand. I would expect that. Oh, he did X-Men Deadly Genesis, which was a bit of a undead thing, too.
Maybe he's good at zombies.
Really? Yeah, that's kind of a style. He's done Judge Dredd. He did a Century Story. Yeah, not a lot. I'm looking on here.
I see him at my local con pretty much every year.
Yeah, so I'm not seeing any even Star Wars on here.
Maybe it's just at the con he has a lot of Star Wars stuff.
He does do a lot of Magic the Gathering art.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. He did the art in a handbook. So, yeah.
I mean, just to sum up my thoughts from before, from the 10 minutes of lost recording, I'm just a little disappointed because I was hoping this announcement would be an ongoing of some kind from DC with Tom Taylor. So, a little upset about that, but obviously I'll read whatever he does because, you know, I didn't even press the button this time because this was a retake. Yeah. Let's just knock out the button once at the end of this.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor.
And with that,
that was the most forced button ever.
Yeah, but it happened naturally last time. I felt like they're not getting their button fixed this week if I don't do it.
You've got a quota to fill.
I've got a quota to fill. Anyway, so other news. So happy little thing first. They announced this week a new miniseries, a third Batman Turtles crossover, with James Tynion coming back with artist Freddie Williams II, who did the last two. But this time, Kevin Eastman's also joining in, the creator of Turtles, the co-creator of Turtles. So that's pretty cool.
I'll have something else not to read.
Why the cynicism, Matt?
It's fine. I don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need it, but this is wrapping up a trilogy. I read the first one. I thought it was really enjoyable. If you grew up on Batman and Turtles, I feel like it's everything you ever wanted from a potential Batman Turtles crossover. So,
very, very specific.
Do you know what amuses me?
Yeah.
Is Pete hates expanded universe stuff.
I know.
But Batman Turtles crossover. Yes, sign me up.
Yeah, but they're both comics already.
No, but just the idea of you're just like, I need the crossovers, but I don't want more of that stuff. It's just crossovers.
It depends what it is.
Weird to me.
It's case by case.
All right.
It's case by case. I would never have assumed that I wanted a Batman Turtles thing. I only like it because I tried it and it was good. Like I read it, and it was enjoyable. So they're doing a third one. They're saying this is going to wrap up the trilogy, as it were. So, and then also they actually announced this week they're doing an animated movie. Nickelodeon are teaming up with DC to do an animated movie based on the first book. So, Batman Turtles seems to be sticking around as a thing. So, we'll see. And then, so a couple of little things, all of which are kind of pointing to some sort of ongoing issues at DC, kind of wrapping up with a bigger thing. So, Catwoman issue 9, which is coming out in March, which means it was already solicited back in, December, is changing its creative team. It's not going to be Joel Jones and Fernando Blanco. It's going to be Ram V as the writer and artist John Timms jumping in.
I will say, you said this, pointing at maybe some bigger issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this one is, because the issue that was solicited for 9 is just pushed to 10 and 10 to 11 and so on. I think it's just a case of timing. So it's just a fill-in.
Fair enough. I say that though because there's been a lot of cancellations recently. Not just of ongoing books. There's been a lot of hardcovers being cancelled recently. And I saw online apparently Dan Didio's been calling a lot of retailers in the last couple of weeks to reassure them that things are going okay, that things aren't.
Yeah, and I don't know if we ended up speaking about it or not. A few weeks ago, there was the potential big news about restructuring that ended up being a bit smaller than we thought it was going to be.
Well, it sounded smaller to us on our end, although it's starting to feel like maybe more and more it's actually having more of an effect. That's because it's not creative decisions so much, but there's a lot of rumors this week about bigger things happening to the line, about reducing the number of titles that are going out. I think the number was 22, which is quite small. And I'm seeing a lot of retailers online kind of not like the sound of this. It sounds like they're diminishing things too much. Because even if there's not a lot of even if a lot of titles don't sell like huge, right? Having a nice wide array of titles is good for having a lot of customers, right? And it sounded like people are quite worried about what's happening right now.
It's the opposite method to Marvel, which are expanding more and more titles every year.
It's the sniper method versus the shotgun method, right? Like DC is trying to zero in, and these are our 22 best-selling.
I think there are pros and cons to the store from the store.
No, I do, but Marvel's like, hey, you guys like Shuri and the Black Panther movie? Here's a series. Hey. Yeah. You guys like the Black Order from Infinity War? Here's a mini-series.
I'm sure you said Shuri there, but I heard Sherry, and that was amusing to me. Yeah. Shuri.
What do you think?
God, not this shit again.
Shuri.
Nunny. He is Nunny, and I am Nunny. Take it you're familiar with that skit from SNL, Pete? I
have heard of it, yes. I haven't seen a lot of SNL, but I'm familiar with a couple of the famous ones. There was a lot of doom and gloom on the internet this week, worried about what DC is doing right now, and hoping that this downsizing is not going to be as true as everyone seems to think it is right now. But that has been true. There's been a lot of things happening. Batman Damned issue 3 was cancelled from its solicitation. It's going to be resolicited for May. Although Azzarello did say on Twitter that this was the original timeline they expected. And they have nothing to do with when DC solicits things. Although then I question, wait, did you always expect not to be done with the final issue until May, when the first issue came out in November? Was that always the plan?
Given Bermejo's timeline of schedules, probably. This is one that I don't think is indicative of a problem. I think it's just it's a delay.
Yeah, but then I asked though, if this was always the timeline, like Azzarello's saying it was, then did DC start releasing the book entirely too early? Was even issue 1 released months too early compared to what they thought it should have been released?
I would say yes, but I think they wanted to make a statement of Black Label as a launch. No, it's happening this year. At the time, they wanted to get it.
Yeah, and they've basically killed the line.
Yeah.
I'm not even convinced that the books they announced will come out, and even if they do come out, will they still be called Black Label?
I think they'll all come out, but probably won't be called Black Label.
I definitely don't think there's going to be any more Black Label books.
No.
So what are they going to do with the ones that were supposed to come out?
They'll just come out as just a random mini.
Yeah. I think some will come out. I think some will disappear. I think some of them will just kind of fade away.
I think most of them will come out. There wasn't that many announced.
It's actually kind of shocking how much they fumbled it. I don't know. It feels like recently a lot of the extra things DC have been trying have been kind of fumbling a little bit. And there's been a lot of little things here, like Nightwing 57 here. There's a co-writer on that issue, which is coming, and that's the next issue out. That's like,
yeah. Again, I think this is one where, because Lobdell's been having a co-writer for most of his issues, I think. And obviously there was some stuff went down before.
Yeah.
So this is just a case of, okay, no, they've probably known who was scripted, because it's already done, the issue, right? It's the script's done, the art's pretty much finished. It's printing in a week or two.
It feels like there's been a lot of little things like this though recently. Like I feel like we went a long time without any of these little problems creeping in, and then all of a sudden it feels like all this is happening.
So here's I wikied the Black Label, and these are the ones right now. That were listed were Batman Damned, right? Superman Year One, which is slated for September 10th, 2019. All right. The other three that were solicited were The Other History of the DC Universe by John Ridley.
Which was indefinitely cancelled. Well, indefinitely delayed, or is non-existent now.
Yeah.
Batman Last Night on Earth, which is that Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, post-apocalypse. Yeah, because it's Snyder and Capullo.
Yeah.
That's still TBA. And it's supposed to be 3 issues. Other History of the DC Universe was slated for 5. And then the 3 Jokers with Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok.
Again, may not be under the Black Label thing, but I think it will happen after Doomsday Clock.
So they also have the collected editions that are going to have the Black Label.
Yeah.
I've already had those. Yeah, like All-Star Supermans came out and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, it has them going through September to Superman Year One. But it's got, Batman White Knight, All-Star Superman, DC New Frontier, which is supposed to come out this upcoming week. Watchmen, Kingdom Come, Frank Miller's Ronin, and then Batman Damned and Superman Year One. So it might just be a collection. Like these are the prestige.
The first couple of those did come out under the Black Label, though, right? White Knight, and what was the second one?
Superman All-Star.
Yeah, that came out under the label.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's almost becoming just a re-release your trade with this symbol on it, more than it is a actual imprint.
Almost like an absolute edition, but not,
Well,
it's still a trade.
They're still standard paperback, standard size. I think it's more just it's a way to market to the bookstores more than to the consumers of these are the all-time bestsellers. These are the ones that you can hand to anyone sort of stories. Yeah. Obviously, Watchmen and All-Star Superman, they've been those books for a long time that you'll see everywhere because they sell.
Well, and now I can see White Knight going into there.
Absolutely,
because it's pretty standalone. Trying to see, I remember there being a bunch of other ones that were solicited that were just kind of in the works. Like I remember Rucka having something in there.
Yeah, there was a Kelly Sue Wonder Woman book as well on the Black Label.
Yeah,
there was nothing official though on those though. It was like, there's plans for these, right?
They were on the same list as the other ones at the time. I remember.
Yeah,
were they?
Because it's not like these other ones have actually been solicited yet either.
That's true.
None of them have been.
Because that was the discussion that we had. It was like, we'll actually believe these when they all seem like proof of concepts more than
Batman Damned is literally the only one that's ever been solicited.
Yeah, so I've got the original article from this is from March last year, so WonderCon, right?
Yeah, ages ago, far too early.
Yeah. So what this says here is so we've got Superman Year One, Other History of the DC Universe. Kelly Sue DeConnick joins DC Black Label for her first major work with the company.
It was supposed to be the Historia with Phil Jimenez, which that would have been a beautiful looking book.
Yeah. Other things, Batman Last
Wonder Woman Diana's Daughter
was the Greg Ruckel one, which again I think is one that will happen. I think that'll be the follow-up to. It'll be the final part of his Wonder Woman story, right? And it'll happen whenever whoever the artist is free, because it'll. I know Rucker's working on a thing at the minute where he doesn't want to release anything until at least a full arc is finished in the art. So it'll be a case of that won't even get announced till it's done, pretty much. But I think that will happen. Whether it's under Black Label though, different question.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. With like what Pete was saying is these might just come out, but not Black Label's done. Black Label as a concept of
Oh yeah,
kind of like All Star was,
Yeah.
where we were going to have all these other books.
The thing that killed it was backtracking on the Bat Dick. Now, not because that it shouldn't have been there or it should have been there. It's that no. It was that they marked as this is our adult line, right? This is what this label is. We're going to put it out. This is the first issue of anything in that label. It's a statement, and then immediately went. Actually, we've changed our mind on what this is.
Backtracking on the Bat Dick is also what they did to Dick Grayson. So.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I do think there's some things going on behind the scenes right now at DC that are shaking things up, and not necessarily for the better right now. I'm hoping it's just some turmoil they can get through, like some rough terrain that they'll come out on the other end, and things will be better again. But I do feel like right now there's a lot of little editorial decisions that are happening that are feeling kind of weird, and I don't necessarily even think it's Didio. I mean, I blame Didio for like what's going on with Titans and shit like that. Don't get me wrong. I feel like there's some
it's fun to blame him. He's a good villain.
He's a full guy.
But I feel like some of the things that are happening right now, like, I think the stuff with the Black Label is not Didio. I think that's more executive level decisions that are happening. So,
well, like in Zoom and Ink, like I was all excited for those, and we still haven't had any of those come out. So
like really soon.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like they announced them far too early.
It's because they're for bookshops rather than for comics.
It's a different I know. Entirely. But like I've forgotten they're coming. Like if I wasn't doing a weekly show.
Yeah, I think the jury's out in Ink and Zoom. I think Ink and Zoom might be fine. I don't think there's anything to worry about there with them yet. They're. I
think their younger audience stuff has been one of the most consistent areas over the past decade for DC. With the superhero girls and all the other stuff they've had going, and then now into Ink and Zoom. I think it has been one of the most consistent areas.
I guess I'm saying I hope they soon, when getting out of this rough patch, behind the scenes, I really hope that no good creators or books get the shaft because of what's going on. I hope it doesn't end up with some casualties because of it, but that's always a concern.
Bendis was a casualty.
Sorry?
I said it'd be alright if Bendis was a casualty.
I feel like he's the one person who's probably safe.
Connor, you don't read any Bendis, therefore you don't get to say anything
but he's
going to
be doing an event, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, now I'm missing a DC event. Oh.
Okay, so we had another announcement this week. It's got DC are going to be spotlighting villains in a year-long initiative beginning this May called Year of the Villain. It's going to there's going to be a free comic book day one-shot. Essentially, it's actually it's kind of what they did last year, where it's a few days earlier and it's 25 cents, but it's basically the free comic book day thing.
Which is what the retailers pay for the free comic books anyway. Yeah. They pay 25 cents for every copy.
So yeah, because last year
shop had them for free.
Yeah, so basically the shops now get to decide do they want to put them in for free or do they want to charge them 25 cents. It's up to them. But yeah, so they're putting this out. It's a one-shot anthology with stories tying into the upcoming Batman, Justice League, and Superman titles, including City of Bane, a story arc in Tom King's Batman, and a continuation of the Batman Who Laughs limited series. It's going into a new title launching in the summer. So it's kind of unclear what this is exactly in terms of the year-long thing. I'm assuming it'll be a couple of mini-series, maybe some one-shots over the year, but I'm not sure.
Issue number 1, Dan Didio.
I'm sure we'll get the announcement at WonderCon.
Probably. But right now it's just this one shot and then promising more stuff. But it does kind of imply they're a sequel to the Batman Who Laughs coming over the summer. So we'll see how that is. But yeah, it mentions here writers Bryan, Michael Bendis, Scott Snyder, and James Tynion IV will be working with artists Alex Maleev, Jim Chung, Francis Manapul for the stories. Capullo's doing the cover art. So it's worth mentioning.
Hold on. That list of names there.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Well, here's the thing. So the Bendis Maleev story, I'm going to assume that's going to lead into the Leviathan thing, whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. It's all like last year with the New Justice stuff. The 3 stories all led into the new books.
I wonder. I know the Bendis Maleev story from Detective 1000 went up online the other day.
Yes.
That you can
just like Tom King's story from last year's Action did.
Yeah. Obviously, I've not read. I wonder, does that play into any of that Leviathan angle at all? Given that it's Maleev as well.
It could.
I'm waiting till the book to read it. I don't want to read it beforehand.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I assume this is one of those really short, like 2 or 3 page ones, given that they put it up for free.
Yeah, I mean, I think King's one last year was 6 or 7, and they put that out for free, so it could be.
Was it that long?
Could be that long again.
Remember Superman on the Sun?
No, I remember it. I'm just obviously in my head it was shorter.
No.
I'm just loving that our DC hating friend Mario has to deal with two of his favorite creators, Bendis and Malieve, working at DC. I love it.
This is when salt becomes sweet. It's sweet on Matt's end, but salty on the other end.
Yeah, like. That said, he has been reading Superman in action since Bendis came on. Of course, he's not impressed because nothing impresses Mario.
Yeah.
So.
I just, for my anticipation for this, it's just kind of I'm at neutral right now because I don't really know what it's leading to.
I'm excited based on the other teams.
Oh, the teams are fine.
The Snyder,
Tynion and Maniple.
Yeah, the Snyder one specifically, I assume will tie in with his Justice League books. It's Chung on art, right? So I assume that's going to be some Legion of Doom something.
Well, they mentioned one's tying into Batman Who Laughs, so you'd think that'd be the Snyder one.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Could be Tynion though, because we know how they trade.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah, Tynion. I was gonna say if it's Batman Who Laughs. If not, I was gonna say it's something to do with the other kind.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Manipul, other kind.
Yeah.
How disgustingly sweet that would look.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's the right artist for the other kind.
That's what I'm saying.
Is Manipul good for horror? I don't know if he is.
He can pull it off.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's debatable. But alright. That was the news, basically. So there you go. We'll move on. We'll move on to books. We'll start with The Flash, number 64.
Onward.
Well, I guess I was expecting one of you idiots to say something, and you just didn't. So I was
I
guess
I'll just the books.
I'll stroll out of the book then. Flash 64, written by Josh Williamson, art by Rafa Sandoval, mercifully replacing Gilliam March from the last issue of the crossover.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Still though, Sandoval on Flash is so weird.
Yeah, it's not the best thing ever, but it is much better.
I don't have issues like Connor did early on, but it definitely does not match the Flash style still. But hey,
honestly,
he's a workhorse.
The Flash isn't my biggest problem in this book. It's specifically, this issue. It's Gotham Girl's face always looks really, really smooth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, compared to everyone else, it looks...
Well, and her expressions, I get, again, I was picking up more on the Harley Quinn stuff.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah, it's looking... It's like this really smooth, dulled over look, whereas everyone else has, like, shading and stuff on their face.
She's a really good skincare routine. That's all that is, Connor.
Yeah, all right.
It's her powers.
Sean Venom does wonders for the skin.
Yeah.
It does.
I will say that Williamson has nailed the banter, like his Bruce and Barry stuff in this issue.
The Sherlock. Why do you assume that you're Sherlock and I'm Watson?
Well, that's all. What did you say? He said no, duh, Sherlock. And where'd you pick that up? From Damien. But if I remember right, those weren't the exact words you used.
Yeah, it was Kelly implying it was no shit Sherlock. Yeah.
Yeah, but just writing around that. And doing it in such a fun way and showing that these two are good friends. It reminded me of Loeb and Superman Batman in that first arc where they're talking about each other. And, here it's Bruce talking about Barry and Barry talking about Bruce. And
I think to go back to that Loeb comparison, the one moment that really captures that more or most for me is when they're talking, it's the bit about being the best detective. Yeah. And Bruce is like, Barry might be the only other detective. I wonder if I'm the world's greatest detective.
Well, he puts doubt in
in
Batman's mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that doubt there.
It's that duality that Loeb did a lot in Batman or Superman Batman, where they'd have narration at the same time, and it'd be it would almost be like it was bouncing off each other. But they obviously didn't know what each other was thinking, so it would just be like, he's the best at this. No, he's the best at this. But they would just both be thinking at the same time.
And King kind of did that too in the Double Date, the stuff that led up to the Double Date issue, where they were talking about each other, but it wasn't inner. It was, Bruce talking to Selena and Clark talking to Lois. So, again, we talked about if this came out of King's, and I'm wondering if, King was like, yeah, hey, I want this. To tie into, I want that vibe here. But it definitely solidifies me. I always said that, Flash is the fourth pillar. He's right behind the Trinity. This cemented it for me.
Yeah. I found that most of it's Batman says, I've privately wondered who is the better detective between Flash and me. And Flash is just, he's the greatest detective ever known. Like, he just believes in Bruce, whereas Bruce has that doubt.
Yeah, well, that kind of
that's Barry.
That sums up the difference in the characters. But Batman has to doubt everything and rethink it. Barry just believes things.
Well, and then to me, that tells me though that Barry, because he's so rule focused, he's so used to doing it on the police force, where you have to do things by the book, or it's not admissible, right? Whereas Batman's doing it on the sly. He's doing it all on his own, and so it's just that slight difference, and that's what might make Barry to Bruce seem like he's better.
Yeah, Iris is not in a good place with Batman right now.
Ooh, I love that. That was pretty good.
Has some nasty words for him. There's also the heartstrings tug, because they find this base where Gotham Girl's been hanging out, and it's like all these like newspaper clippings of all the superheroes. It's this obsessive kind of den, and there's like the costume design for Gotham Girl, and Barry's kind of looking at it, and he has this. It's just like a narration flashback of Wally like talking about his suit and how he designed it, and it's just this really kind of sweet thing. But then
he had his hair showing because he liked the hair.
Yeah,
he loved the wind blowing through his hair as he ran at super speed. I was like, God damn it.
Yep. So they find all these Venom tanks with all these clones, and I was like, wait, is the Gotham we've been seeing with Gotham Girl even the real? Like, is that just another clone? Is it the real one that died?
Probably.
Yeah.
And then Barry's like, did you send her to Sanctuary? Because he finds one of the masks, and he's like, did you send her to Sanctuary? And did she not get helped? Thinking that Sanctuary basically proved to be a failure, but yet Wally and that still gets sent there anyway. But Gotham Girl shows up before the heated debate can get any further, and she triggers all the clones, who all kind of show up and start fighting them. And that's kind of the big cliffhanger at the end of the issue. Do you know what small moment I liked actually? I liked when Batman kind of admitted that it's not that the Gotham Girl using her powers would eventually kill her was a lie. That's still true. But he kind of admits that when he said to her not to use her powers, it was maybe more rooted in the idea that he didn't want her to go into this life, as much as it was about not killing herself by draining her energy. I like that little story.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's being a hero is what's probably going to be your downfall, because that's what it was for Wally.
Yeah. I'm a bit conflicted on this issue, though. Because as much as I like all this stuff that we're talking about with Bruce and Flash,
the plot with Gotham Girl's not so hot.
And I really dislike this angle that we've taken her down, and this voice for her now.
Her voice does feel really off compared to what we had before, and she feels like she's actually just completely psychotic now, and it's hard to kind of.
It feels like a totally different character.
Although, what if she's been using the Venom? Because we know that Venom does.
I considered that. Yeah, I considered that the reason why she's so different is because she's got Venom in her system.
Maybe.
But we don't know that. I'm pure speculation. Let me just say, I want to give her full credit for having a castle on a Caribbean island, total Bond villain style.
I can't argue with that. That's boss.
And it looked like the command center from Power Rangers to me. So,
hang on, I'm gonna have to go back and look at it from the exterior now.
Yeah.
Alpha, get me Justice League members with attitude.
I see it. Take away some of those trees.
Yeah, that's what I was getting vibes from. So
where's the Dragon Zord? Come on.
By the way, sidetrack.
Yeah.
Shattered Grid. That was the comic story, right? That wasn't Okay, so I saw a shirt through. It was either one of those where they only make it for a day.
Yeah.
One of those sites, and it had the good, and it was the White Ranger, the bad, the Green Ranger, and it said the Shattered, and it had the Shattered Dimension, or whatever that was called.
Yeah, there was it was like an evil version of Tommy from another reality that had it was like white and green. It was
It was like an amalgam, and I was like, oh man, I wonder if Higgins has seen this, because that was all his creation, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's become pop culture within, so I thought that was pretty cool.
There's even a new fighting video game coming out called Power Rangers Shattered Grid.
For real?
Yeah, it's just because the whole thing with Shattered Grid is I haven't read that story yet, but that it brings in it mixes up all the Power Rangers together, so you get like different types of Power Rangers from different eras. So the fighting game has you can have the Red Ranger from the original versus the yellow from like 2 generations later or whatever.
Oh man, yeah, damn it. Now I have no excuse not to get these things. By the way, I finished Spider-Man.
Oh,
So,
nice.
and no, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you waited till the end of the credits, of course.
I did.
Yeah.
I did post credits.
Good.
So I will say the final boss fight was a little bit more simple than I was expecting.
Yeah.
So, but still, I still have a couple things to finish.
I liked how epic some of them felt though. There was a moment. This is no spoilers, but there's a moment where you're fighting I think it's Shocker and someone else, or maybe it's Electro and someone else.
It's Electro and Vulture.
Yeah, and it just feels this epic fight. Even though what you're doing is quite simple, it just feels really big and epic.
That because they're so spread out compared to some of the other combinations later in the game, that was the boss fight I had the hardest time with. The other ones were just you gotta grind away, but.
I love that the talk of this book has been interrupted by video games, and it was Matt that did it.
I know.
Weird,
it happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Power Rangers takes us down on that. Tell me there should be a fighting game. Yeah, it's amazing. Anyways, the art. I didn't have too much issue. It feels off.
There's some panels I really like. There's some panels that I think it looks a bit weird.
There are definitely some panels that I think are outright ugly, usually in relation to Flash. Just that big bulky chest.
I find that it was just his head in a panel. It tended to work quite well because I didn't see his body.
That's right. There was a panel with a really awkward head tilt angle that I felt that was weird.
Well, yeah, Sandoval kind of draws him like a football player, like where he has this big, broad shoulders.
Yeah.
And he's meant to be sleek.
Unlike Gil March, it doesn't look like he's actually got the armor on as well, which it did in the March issue last time.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously I critique the Gotham girl's face just looking weird. It looks unnatural compared to everyone else. If that was the style of face that everyone had, I wouldn't be questioning it. But because everyone else has detail on their faces, shading and stuff, hers feels particularly weird.
And yet somehow coming after March, this all feels like a 9 out of 10 art-wise, just in comparison to him.
Yeah.
It's still a step up, yeah.
I will say, there's an almost awesome page where it's got, when they realize it's the Venom, Flash just looks so weird. He looks so bulky, but the Batman, with what he does with the capes and how it cuts into the panels, I think it looks really cool. So, yeah.
Yeah, hit and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't destroy the issue, by any means. What are we rating it, Matt? Come on, what are you giving it?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I mostly liked the banter and the story. Even with Gotham Girl, I'm not that tied into her, so her being crazy, there can be a explanation. And I could look back next week when we get that explanation and go, oh well, this kind of didn't work out, and it would change it already. But as of right now, it's an 8.
That's fair, Connor.
I'm gonna go with a 7. As much as I like the Bruce and Barry stuff, just felt a bit off in other places.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. Kind of the similar reasons. I really like the Bruce and Barry stuff. The art's hit and miss though, and Gotham Girl still feels a bit weird. I don't know if I care about her enough that I'm really even that annoyed that if she gets kind of ruined, I'm like, okay, well that's
like, well, all right, fine, but it still just feels out of place when you're reading it. It just feels wrong, doesn't it?
So I don't feel like oh my god, it's not like when they're ruining Dick Grayson where I'm like, no, what are you doing? I'm just gonna okay, well if she changes and I don't like her anymore, then fine, just don't use her again. I'll live with it. But so 7 out of 10. It's good, but some caveats to go along with it. So that'll take us on to Detective Comics 998. Peter J. Tomasi writing, Doug Mahnke on the art. Next part of this, we ended last issue with Batman going to see Hugo Strange to confront him about what's going on. Matt's shaking his head, so I'm feeling some Matt rage coming in.
But I agree with in regards to the Hugo Strange stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a BS cliffhanger.
Yeah, well,
it's
there's a few pages with Hugo Strange, and then the story just shifts beyond because it turns out Batman was wrong. Hugo Strange has nothing to do with this.
It adds nothing to the story.
So we think, yes.
No.
Bizarrely though, I might have enjoyed the Hugo Strange stuff more. Not in the sense that it ruined the cliffhanger and felt redundant, just in the sense that I liked the idea of it being Hugo Strange and I liked his dialogue more. Once it got to the Etrigan stuff, I actually kind of oh, it's just this is an Etrigan issue. Okay.
Which I was like, oh, Etrigan.
Yeah. The Hellbat is really cool. Every time Tomasi brings it up, he makes it more It's just more.
Joe bugged me about it.
No, I agree. It's more in every way, isn't it?
What bugged me? First of all, I was hoping that there was going to be a line Batman complaining that Lois had messed with something inside it.
Yeah, me too.
And that never happened. But my bigger complaint is at one point the suit's like, there's a 90% chance this will kill you, what we're about to do. And he's like, just do it. And it does it. And then there's no like consequences for doing it. And that to me is where, you know, sometimes Matt gets really upset because Batman. That felt a bit because Batman to me. It was like, it's not even like treating it like it's a big deal. It's just, no, just do it.
The argument is, well, it came out in the 10%, so it's fine. But
yeah, but Batman always comes out in the 10%.
He does.
Sometimes it comes out in the 1% or the 0.1%.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, it's fine to a point. I guess it's just the moment feels like such a throwaway random thing in the middle of an arc that it feels weird to give it this weight of no.
It wasn't even, guys. It wasn't even 90%. It was 95% that he was gonna have a cardiac arrest.
Well, I don't think I finished this. I think I fell asleep. I'm just looking now, and I'm like, I remember the Hellbat. I remember that 95%, whatever it was, and then not much after that.
I was so into this, and up when we got to the Sensei, and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. And now it's kind of unintelligible. Like, I have zero clue what's going on. Especially when we get to the end.
Yeah, I did the first 3 issues as well. And then, like, I liked the last one a bit more than you did. I didn't hate it as well. Like, I thought it was okay, whereas you hated it, Matt. This issue, like, I was like, okay, I'm down for this, because I liked the cliffhanger last time. I was like, okay, I'm down for Hugo Strangeman, like, the end of this road. And then it was like, no, it's not Hugo Strange. Here's Etrigan. Okay, a bit of a fight with a monster, whatever. Then he goes to see...
They just teleports him to Silas.
To Silas, yeah. And then Silas starts acting weird, and I'm like, wait, they're going to twist us that Silas is a villain? And then the ending happens where, like...
I'm getting there. Hold on. Spoilers.
Well, how about you finish your books? But he was giving me shit for running late earlier on.
Because I finishing my last book. I actually thought I had finished it. That's how forgettable this was.
Look, I
forgot it. I read it.
I just have forgotten to read books. I've never not finished.
I fell asleep while I was reading it and clearly went, yeah, I read that. Because I did the action sequence and went, yeah, that was the end.
I did do this with an episode of The Flash on the TV podcast at one point, so I can't really complain that much. But so Silas like breaks away as if he's in the Matrix. Like, it goes all green, and then he breaks away, and then the final page is... What is this?
What the hell is this?
What is this?
I just turned onto it clearly as you were doing that, and I'm like, what the?
Yeah. It's what he says is we'd have to wage war on ourselves, Bruce. And it looks like a little kid version, like not Batmite little, and not like, Damian wearing the cowl.
No. It's young Bruce Wayne at 10 years old in the Batman suit. That's what it is, right?
It's way too big. Yeah. Like, whew. I trust in Tomasi most of the time, but these last 2 issues is
the final of this issue telling us that most of what's happened this arc all been in in his head or in a simulation or something like that? Is that what he's telling us?
That's what I'm thinking. But it can't do that because what about Etrigan? That's not... Those are very specific rules. You know what I mean?
Etrigan's in his head as well. All of it's been in his head. Is Leslie even dead? Like, is everything that's happened since the first issue?
Which I thought from the beginning. Like, there's no way Tompkins stays dead. Like...
Well, not staying dead and then turn out she was never dead in the first place are 2 different things.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what I mean.
Yeah,
I think I'm angry.
I don't like the end of this issue at all. The end of this issue made me go, I got the last couple of these physically because I really liked the first few issues of this arc. I might actually switch back.
That.
Yeah, I might switch back. I thought, no, I'll get it physically because 1000's coming out. I'll get the 1000th one physically.
Well, you might have to wait till after 1000 now. Though.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because we all know I need to cut anyways. I don't have room, and
I'm
this is on the block.
Yeah, I'm getting this digitally, but I'm gonna get like a couple of copies of 1000 for various covers. I'm sure, like I did with Action 1000.
So Yeah, I got to this last page and I was like, ugh. Not that it ruined my day, but like this is the one book that I got to read on my break that day.
I'm not gonna lie.
Makes me sour.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm starting to have a really weird opinion on Tomasi. I feel like Tomasi keeps starting off good, and this happened much quicker in this than it did with Superman.
This is the quickest he's ever gone downhill, though.
I'm starting to get this feeling where it's like, oh, it's a really promising start, and in the case of Superman's Rebirth, it was like a good couple of arcs of a promising start. and then just decline and
a lot of people will tell you a similar thing happened with his Batman and Robin. I think Batman and Robin actually was all right even in the rough patches. But people will tell you got 30 good issues and then it was shite, right?
It was a roller coaster. It kept building and building and building, and then it dropped down way low, and then it picked right back up again.
Yeah, which is why I dropped it. Because I dropped that book soon after Damian died. I think it was in that sort of period where I was kind of
his Damian solo book that was like 12 issues is really good. His Green Lantern Corps, fantastic all throughout. So I think it's just the character, and I feel like
it's Batman's fault.
No, it's Batman's fault.
Because he had a problem with Superman, clearly.
Yeah. No, but it's just the way Matt said that. It's the character.
No, I feel like everyone has a Batman story, and then you kind of get lazy. That's what they always say with Superman, is there's not... Superman's not a bad character, just bad writers have, they don't know what to do with him. And I feel like with Batman, you can do all of the stuff, and he has too much he can do here. Like the fact that he's going over Bruce's, like this arc's called Mythology. It's just, I think, a little bit too much out of the gate.
Yeah. That's the end of this issue. It was just one of those things where I just sort of went, what the hell is this shit? Like, that was my reaction to it.
Like, but if we weren't getting another Bruce Wayne character, like, in King's Run, the kid?
Yeah.
With the
I still hate it here.
No, see, I think the problem, it's not a comparison to that character. I think the problem here is that it felt like this was a good detective story. Sure, the character was going after Batman's like allies and stuff, and like something from his past, but it was a detective story about Batman figuring out the villain, right? Whereas King's whole run in Batman has been about deconstructing Batman, and that's fine, right?
Right.
It's had its ups and its downs, but that's fine. The fact that this seems like this arc is turning into deconstructing Batman again is like, oh no, we're doing that in another book.
We don't need both books doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a romp. Give me a nice Batman romp.
Exactly. And that's always whatever my issues with when Tynion was writing it, like, it was always a fun romp.
Yeah.
Yeah, the team dynamic went on. And then even with Robinson, like, that Two-Face story was really up and down.
But... that was issue to issue, like, great to shite.
Yeah.
It was all over the place.
Yeah, this was rough. This was rough. And...
This is an issue of two halves, though, because, like, ignoring the 3 pages or so at the start of Hugo Strange, right? Mm-hmm. You've got the first half with Etrigan and the fight with the Hellbat, which I liked mostly, other than the because Batman. I'm like, yeah, this is all cool stuff, right? Action, is what we wanted from it. Mm-hmm. And then you've got the end section, the last third of the book, or whatever it is, where it's just, oh, okay, I guess we're pivoting now.
Yeah, it felt like a pivot. It really did.
Yeah.
It's that what's even worse is that Batman right now, not counting the crossover with Flash, is doing a thing where everything's in his head.
Yeah.
So if this turns out to be like a Matrixy thing, then it's not that much different. Like that's close enough.
And we've not exactly been feeling that hot on that Batman arc either.
Yeah.
Nope.
So this was Detective 998. Not. I mean, it looked generally pretty good. Like the art is, solid for Mahnke.
Yeah, it's fine. Well, I haven't got anything glaringly bad or anything particularly amazing though either. It's solid.
I like his Etrigan. His Etrigan's properly menacing.
I like how his Etrigan's quite acrobatic. So he's always jumping, and you get that pounce off that he does.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate how quickly this arc seems to have just turned in a couple of issues. It's a shame. It's a real shame. And also people are loving it. I had a hard time with this one.
I'm also a little disappointed that I mentioned the last issue was like, why is Hugo Strange in the Batsuit again? Like, where's this coming? Last time we saw him, there was nothing, no indication of that. No, and I'm going to mention it.
Yeah, I assumed we'd get more context to that, but there was nothing.
He doesn't even address it. It's just like, whatever.
Those are his pajamas.
He's got bat
complete
jammies.
With cape.
Hey, the clip keeps him warm. Lies on his stomach.
A choking hazard, Pete. Come on.
Are you really going to be upset if he chokes? I don't think you will be.
Well, no. But that's not the point.
Matt, what are you rating Detective?
I'm going to give it a 6.5. What?
That's more than you gave the last issue.
Yeah, because I like this one more.
Okay. I mean, fair enough.
Like,
This discussion started with you shaking your head.
yeah, because of the Hugo Strange stuff.
Okay. Connor, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a 4 because I as much as I like that little bit in the middle with the action, Etrigan, everything around it. No, thank you.
I'm gonna give it a straight 5, straight down the middle. Some things I like, some things I really didn't like, and some like, what the hell are we doing here? Art's pretty good though. I like the art, so art's definitely holding up a little bit. But that's Detective. Hopefully this turns it around. Hopefully this Arkham Knight story coming up is fares better.
Well, as long as this kid's not the Arkham Knight.
No, I'm pretty sure this is inner Bruce Wayne. This is inner young Bruce Wayne, but we'll see. Or at least someone's pretending to be inner young Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Alright, that'll take us out to Superman issue 8. Bryan Michael Bendis writing, Ivan Reis and Brandon Peterson on art again. So much like last issue, there's some stuff that's present day with John telling the story, and some stuff in the actual story itself, which is where the art change happens. So, I'm gonna lie. I think the final page reveal of this book was my biggest holy shit moment of the week.
Yeah. Not at all where I thought it was gonna go, especially with what was set up. You know, because we have my favorite thing. So that was great, but I think my favorite thing was the threat of Superman being angry. So we don't get that a lot, and it wasn't the type of angry where his eyes glow red that I like. It's actual inner anger because he can't do anything.
Yeah, he wants to go
angry at his father.
He wants to go hit something because he's had some of John's years stolen from. Because the issue starts with them double checking that it's him in the fortress and making sure the DNA all matches up and everything else.
I love that Keelix is doting on him while Lois is doting on him, on John. Like, I love that part. But, yeah. I also forgot that the fortress is now moved because Zard destroyed the Arctic fortress. I totally spaced on that it's in the Bermuda Triangle. So, yeah, and then when he leaves and he finds Mongol...
Yeah, because he's thinking to himself, oh, I told myself I wasn't going to punch asteroids anymore when I get angry because, it could cause some unforeseen consequences. And then he finds Mongol, and it's like, Mongol.
Yeah, who's up at the ruins of the original fortress. Yeah. And according to Bendis on Twitter, this fight is the fight that Naomi saw in her book.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of crossover going on there.
That's cool. That's nice and subtle, but I like it. But I love that when Superman gets back to the fortress, he's like, how's everything going? And Lois is like, hey, so did you find something to hit? And he's like, don't make fun. And she's like, I'm not. I was hoping you'd bring me something back to hit.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, Mongol. Okay.
So Mongol's a good thing to hit.
And then we find out what Crazy Grandpa's been up to with John.
Yeah, so it starts. So the first flashback is basically him being all weird with John and been talking about existence and your place in the world and how there might not be any reason to live. And John's like, oh shit, Grandpa's crazy. This is not so good. And we see that they're helping. This is when he's a little bit older. He's maybe like a year or two older from when he started. Yeah. And the Green Lantern Corps there. He's asking Kilowog for a ride home, and then Jor-El's looking really upset because he overhears this, and John says that was I called that. I don't know how long it really was, but I called that the summer where Grandpa didn't speak to me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm thinking like him being crazy. He's this maniacal, guy, but clearly he has something going on, and what keeps John there is guilt. It's not like Jor-El's like you can't leave. It's the I'm disappointed you even want to leave.
Yeah.
This is your heritage. And you're turning it down to run back to Earth, and yeah, man, it's very complex because this is not what I thought it was gonna be, and it's man, especially with where it ended.
And Jor-El's like, okay, I'll take you home since you want to after he finally apologizes.
Yeah. And
then a black hole appears and John gets sucked in. And it's like, okay, what's happening? Where's he going? Where's this? Because it sounds like, okay, he aged up a little bit, but it sounded like he was going to come back maybe age 14 or something like that at this point.
Yeah.
And then he gets sucked into a black hole, and then the final page reveal is the crime syndicate standing over him. It looks like he went to Earth 3.
Yep. So, that's... Wow.
My favorite part about it is that on the build up to that page, because the narration here is him telling his parents what's going on, right? He's like, "Okay, Dad, I'm really trying to describe this to you without making it sound anything. I promise what happened next." And as you turn the page and see the crime syndicate, it was not your fault. Because that's the big thing here. Is Superman blames himself for letting John go, right? And Lois blames herself for not, bringing him back. But like, I love that reveal. It's like, oh shit, he's going to go through some dark stuff in this time period. So he's with the crime syndicate, and that came out of nowhere. That was not spoiled for me in any way. I had no idea they were showing up at the end of this. So it was a really effective cliffhanger.
And it wasn't the black hole them going through it. It was a little bit reddish around there, which I thought was
a little bit.
That's got to be the bleed, right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So that was a nice. Like, I can't believe I didn't pick up on that beforehand. Like, until you turn the page, and he's surrounded.
Also, it makes sense that they got towards a black hole because, as Interstellar taught us, as Matt has informed us multiple times, yes, gravity makes time move differently at a black hole. So this helps explain that a little bit, and adds to that. So so I think Superman it's like it only feels like it's diminished a little bit because Action Comics is a little bit better. Like that is the only thing going against it as far as the super books.
Yeah, I'm enjoying both here. I mean, the art here with Reis, it's fine. There's a couple little spots I could nitpick at, but overall it looks great. We know his crime syndicate looks good because he was on Justice League during Forever Evil. So, I'm really looking forward to that stuff. But yeah, and I do like how they're handling the two artists, where there's a split in the story, so nothing feels jarring.
Yeah, I wonder if this is letting Reis get ahead a little bit so that next arc he comes back swinging for the whole thing. But we'll see. No, I really like this issue. The cliffhanger was the big moment, one of the big moments of the week for me. So, points. And, so far, we said this when John came back. It's like, we'll see how we feel about this John aging up, because it's not something conceptually I think we're excited about. But again, so far, another issue down, nothing. He's not done anything yet to upset me about John. So...
No, he's still John.
Yeah, he's still John.
Everything about him.
Yeah, because Lois is freaking out at one point, and he's saying "Mom," and then he changes it to "Ma." He changes to "Ma" after he tries the first time. It's got a little sweet moment. So, so far nothing. I mean, his new suit's kind of ugly, but other than that,
yeah, we can update that later.
Yeah, what are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I'm gonna knock it up a little bit from there.
I will agree with the 8.5. I think it would have been an 8, but I think that final page reveal bumped up that 0.5. It was a great moment. So that's Superman. Which will take us on to Wonder Woman issue 64. G. Wilson writing with Jesus Merino on the art. And I feel sorry for Jesus Merino because he's coming after a very long line of great artists since the start of this run. Between Kerry Nord and Zermanico and then Lupacino last issue. A lot to live up to.
I also think this might be some of his worst work that I've seen.
That's fair.
If you go on, Kale is unsettling.
If you go on to the third page, it's just after the title page. It's Steve and Diana.
There's a Wonder Woman panel where her face.
What is that face?
Yeah,
that is demonic.
There's a scary face from Wonder Woman on that page. I noticed that as well.
Side. Yeah. Not good.
Yeah. Especially she's bandaging him up. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I know. But then there's other stuff like when she's riding the Pegasus. Like, I thought that looks pretty good.
Do you know what? I think the Pegasus looks a bit weird. It's all the lines. It's really scratchy in it. In this book, it's looked so clean and sleek. And then all of a sudden here it's all scratchy and shadowy, and it felt wrong for me.
No, I would say the Pegasus, because I think this is a very hit and miss issue. There's some pages where I think Diana's face looks great, and then there's some pages like that one that we were talking about with the bandages, where it's just like, what is happening here? What's going on? I wonder how rushed this might have been, like how late this job was given to Merino, like when they realised, we need another artist to fill in for this issue. Like, I wonder what the time frame was, if it was like shorter than normal, because
it probably was. I guess.
Matt, you make Matt, make alert.
Yeah, which is it's unfortunate, but I mean, it feels it doesn't even feel in tone with the art that we've had before on the book. Is frustrating. It feels like, oh, who's free? Oh, they'll do.
Yeah.
That said, I really like the story.
Oh, sure.
Getting out of the art, the story here. Veronica Cale has jumped into my top 5 villains for sure. And I know people would call her, she's like just female Lex Luthor, but I love how much more personal it is with her and Diana.
Yeah, the motivation is way more interesting because obviously we've been concerned that Themyscira and Olympus have all disappeared, right? They're all gone, and Diana's been worried about that. And one thing that I don't think we even considered from Veronica Cale's perspective is that she finds out about this. It's like, wait, my daughter's supposed to be in Themyscira. Are you telling me my daughter's lost with everyone else, so she's gone now? And how that reignites her motivation to go after Wonder Woman and everything else.
Because you promised me she'd be safe.
Yeah.
And now she's not safe, so this is on you.
Yeah. I do think she felt a little bit even more Lex Luthor-y than usual in this issue.
And I'm going to give Wilson time to figure that out, because this is the first time she's using her. And you gotta. I'm gonna give her time to adjust that voice, because I feel like it can come, because there's potential there.
Yeah.
I feel.
I think the motivation makes it distinct enough for now. I think the motivation makes it feel unique.
Yeah.
So basically, what happens is Wonder Woman's called to this big crater that's hit in the city, and it turns out that it's Nemesis, and Nemesis is there on behalf of Cale. And the whole thing, and this is where you sort of say it feels a bit Lex Luthor-y, is that Cale then says, "No, wait, Nemesis works for me. Why are you attacking my employee?" And kind of turns it into a bit of a tangled web of.
So, and I went back because when I was reading it, I was like, "Oh no, Nemesis attacked Diana," and you go back, and it's like, "No, Diana came in, started yelling."
Nemesis was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't know, so...
Yeah, Diana got a bit hot-headed, and even though we know why she's thinking what she's thinking, it's been well orchestrated.
Yeah.
You know, no, I enjoyed the story. You know, I'm enjoying this run a lot. This was easily the worst art of any of the issues, though, since the start of the run.
It's not even close.
Easy.
Yeah.
I want to know how Cale was able to chain a god, right? And even Nemesis might be a lower, lesser god. Like, she's got her locked up in her basement, basically. In those first couple of pages. So, what's going on with the, what happened in the realm of the gods? Does this tie into what's going on in Justice League Dark? Like, are we gonna find that out later, or what? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if it'll tie into Dark, but I do think it may make it more context to how Cale achieves such a thing, perhaps. If not how she did it specifically in Nemesis, we might see how she did it with someone else, and it'll explain in hindsight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically, Cale built. I mean, this is the thing. Like, how much we believe Cale is open for debate here, but she says to Diana, "No, I know more than you because I've been speaking to Nemesis and so on. Themyscira is gone. Olympus is gone. They're all gone. You're alone. You're not just like excluded now. You're a refugee." And we end the issue with Diana flying off and crying in the sky. So I'm digging the story.
Yeah, which, considering where it started from in that war zone with that civil war and whatnot, and her going to Ares and them having to have their settle their issues, to those new characters from the last issue. All that one with Steve, the mythical creatures and whatnot. It's very an interesting take on the story of how are they going to fit into the society.
Yeah. No, I'm digging what she's doing with the character. I think it's working.
Yeah. Agree with that.
Cool. All right. What are you giving it, Matt?
So if this art had been a lot better, I would give it a much higher score, and that pains me because I did enjoy the story in this. But I got to give this a 7.5.
I think that's pretty fair, Connor.
I'm going lower. Similar reasons. The art really distracted me, and then also I thought this was the most Luthor-esque that Cale's felt in a long time for me. So I'm going with a 6.5.
I'm going to concur with Matt with 7.5. I think the art stops it from hitting that 8 level. but I do like what the story's doing quite a bit. So you got that's Wonder Woman, which will take us on to Supergirl issue 27. Marc and Andreyko writing with Eduardo Pansica on the art. First time the artist has changed, I believe, actually on this Supergirl book since the start of this run. Not necessarily for the worst though. I think the art in this is pretty strong.
I like Pansica.
Yeah. He's pretty solid. There's some great pages here. There's a giant page. There's a full page spread of Supergirl swinging a big axe, which I'm sure Matt was into.
That's always a big. All the different aliens too. This is an undertaking because not only do you have Zinder, and apparently his mother, who we find out that ice crystal
lady, the villain.
Lady is his adoptive mother who rescued him from who knows where, and whatnot. But then you have all the Omega Men. You have all of Hokum's, creatures and Spice, and it's a lot going on here, and I think it manages really well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I liked because I've been enjoying this run a lot, and I did say the last issue might have been my least favorite just because it felt like it was setting so much stuff up. I think this one benefits from that though because this one feels like a lot more like payoff. I felt like this one moved a lot better because it was no, we're in the mix of it now, and Supergirl's I have almost no power left because my solar energy is depleted. So she's actually just got a blaster gun and she's just in this fight it's like a sci-fi war action movie on this space station, and her and the Omega Men are taking out the bad guys. And she's and one of the things she did last issue is that Splice hit her with her solar blast, right? Because she's Tamarian, or she has at least Tamarian powers.
Tamaranian.
Yeah, Tamaranian. Sorry, but because we know she's been a concoction of different aliens with different powers. But she doesn't hit her this time. She hits the roof to hurt more people because she's learned that that will give superpower power. So we have to do something different.
Yeah, and Spice even mentions I learned.
Yeah, so Supergirl actually dives and saves this little alien, this little child alien, who ends up dying a few pages later anyway.
Yeah,
it's really dark
because Kara's trying to get her up to the to evacuate, and Spice sees that, and that's what causes Kara to wield the axe. Hokum's scientists are looking at this axe and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Kara basically hulks out, it comes to her.
Thor style.
You find out, and it's powered by her rage.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fun because you don't want a pissed off Kryptonian, right? That's pretty dangerous. So the fact that it's a pissed off Kryptonian plus this axe, again, we're seeing stuff that we've never seen before in Supergirl, which is always cool.
Also, I love actually how her skirt and cape look in this issue. The way they flow on those big page spreads looks really, really nice.
Yeah.
Or obviously she calms down though. She chooses not to kill Splice because she's Supergirl. She's a hero. She's no, this is not who I am, and she calms back down.
She messes her up though. That is a drubbing. That's a massacre.
Yeah.
So, but then we get the, it looks like they've won, and Hokum's in retreat, but he seems no, I got exactly what I need. So the Omega Men and Kara are going.
And Starfire's brother as well. Let's not forget.
With Starfire's brother, it looks like. Also, Zinder is rescued from his mother by Krypto.
Yeah, Krypto wakes up and defends him. If I have a complaint about the issue is that him sort of rebelling against his mother and saying no, Kara's good and Krypto's good and he's protecting me. That just feels a little bit quick to me. There's not really much of an arc there. It's just very quickly we find out that that's his mother, and then he immediately almost is no, I'm against you now.
Yeah, I wish that it had been set up in the last issue where he just said okay, mom, or whatever, and it let us know. But they're off. They're getting away from her. So she's split off from them, and she's with the Omega Men, and they're happy to have their crew back.
Yeah, from last issue.
But it turns out that Kara notices this mark on the back of their neck, and she's like, I recognize that, but where do I know it from? And of course, it turns out that they're clones. Hokum has cloned these members of the Omega Men.
They're clone sleeper agents.
Turn on them.
Yeah, they're clone sleeper agents too. So Kara's off mulling because she's pissed that she's not actually found any answers about Rogol Zar yet. and then she runs back to the med bay, and the fallen comrades who did actually die, these clones have all went super like monstrous and started killing people, and then they all sort of morph into kind of monstrous Supergirl clones, because that's the thing that Hawkman did. He took Kara's DNA and put that into his clone concoction. So we have these weird pissed off Kryptonian monster hybrid clones at the end. So that's what she's got. That's a big cliffhanger at the end of the issue.
Yeah.
No, I had a lot of fun with this one. I liked all the space battle stuff. I'm digging Kara like dealing with her anger, which has always been a thing with her character, but I feel like it's really working here. Plus, Supergirl with a giant axe is kind of cool.
It is really cool.
And art's pretty solid again. Even though it's a different artist, I thought it stayed mostly true to what the art style's been throughout. So. No, I'm pretty on board with Supergirl still. I'm happy.
Yeah, me too.
I'm happy. So, what you rating it, Matt?
8.5. It's a really good. The Zinder and his mom stuff notwithstanding, I thought the rest of the issue flowed really well.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, I like that stuff in the crypto sort of side of it, where I like.
Yeah.
It just felt as far as the development goes, it just went a bit too quick. But I will agree with the 8.5. Just back up. It's just back up again this issue. So, Supergirl gets thumbs up. That'll take us on to Justice League Dark issue 8, James Tynion the 4th, and Alvaro Martinez on the art. Other kind are up to no good across the world. We were all really positive on the last issue, so this is the default, because that was the Tales from the Crypt-esque issue, where it was like the little mini-stories with Man-Bat explaining them.
Yeah. This is the start of the next actual arc.
Yeah. So we see those other kind again. Basically, everyone's hiding in the Oblivion Bar. Bobo's pissed because they're understaffed. Him and Tracy 13 are working with little swamp thing, like
little gremlins.
Gremlins, yeah. Swamp Thing made them. Try to like fulfill orders and directs. They're basically hiding the magic community from the other kind, because the other kind are going after the magic community. However, by the end of the issue, the Upside Down Man appears, and so does all the other kind we met in the last issue. The weird, I can't remember what they're called. Any of them are called, but the green one that's like a tank full of body parts.
Yeah, the Blob.
Yeah, Blob. There you go. Him and the other ones all show up, and basically it was posed to Bobo earlier in the issue that maybe he should take them to Mirror, because that's kind of another dimension. Maybe that's a good place to hide. And he doesn't really want to, but obviously they're all getting attacked. They're going to die. A couple of red shirts do go down, so he opens up the portal and he takes them all to Mirror. So that's kind of that side of it. Meanwhile, Zatanna and Wonder Woman are investigating the magic world and looking for Mordru, and they're doing that, and then Man-Bat is doing experiments trying to figure out magic from a science.
He is trying to be magical. He's like, most of it is just accepting that you can do it.
Yes.
And he's like, I get that. That's fine.
He ends up bringing out that younger Dr. Fate dude.
Khalid. Yeah.
Khalid,
yeah. He brings him out, and he's like, no, you have to understand, Fate's been planning for all this. He's been trying this, and he knew it was going to happen when the other kind would attack, and how the magic community would react. And the big final cliffhanger of the book is that Wonder Woman and... No, sorry, not Wonder Woman, sorry. The people who go to Mirror. They go to Mirror, and then it's like, okay, we're safe for now. And then, Bobo and that turn around, and Fate and other Fates are there?
Lords of Order.
No, the Lords of Order.
Lords of
Order.
It's
Naboo, not Fate.
Okay, Naboo and the Lords of Order are there.
Yeah. So the fact that he brought Khalid out of the vase tells me that by the end of this arc, they're going to be bonded.
He's going to be back
with
the helmet.
Fate.
Yeah, so we'll have like a good Fate back, yeah.
He was him as Fate was good in that short run that we had.
Yeah,
at the end of the
clearly my lack of magic DC knowledge is kind of limiting me here, because I had no idea who this team were.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Am I on that final page? The Fate helmet is mounted, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You guys didn't see that, right?
No.
Right. Also, bloody shite and brimstone. It's carried over.
Oh, okay.
Because when I saw it on this cover, I thought, it's just a stylistic thing, because all the characters are melting into it. And I thought, that's cool. And then I got to the end, I was like, oh, for God's sake, that thing actually stuck.
Wow.
Ugh.
That's pretty funny.
I hate that book even more now.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Also, it should be said that Zatanna and Wonder Woman went and met with Papa Midnight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who that is a character that I haven't ran into too often. but I need more of him.
I've only
He's
seen him
pretty
through
cool.
Constantine-related stuff.
Yeah.
Which it's because that's kind of the his entryway into this is like.
Yeah.
So Constantine's out of this one, right? Well, if he's screwed, then I'm definitely sticking out.
Yeah.
If that con man can't finagle his way out, no one can.
Yeah.
I'm getting out of here. So the place that he ran, it was like the Oblivion Bar, but different.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Okay.
The like a hotel casino, right?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Which makes me want, like, is this like a John Wick kind of place for magic people? Which, if not, we need to work on that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it was in another dimension like Oblivion Bars, but it sounds like this was New York's like den for magic folk.
Yeah, in my head it's New Orleans traditionally, but obviously it's New York here.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking that because I associate him with the like voodoo and that side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the other kind basically are playing 4D chess with Naboo, and got them to where they wanted them. Basically chased them to Mira.
Where the Lords of Order be waiting.
Yep. So.
No, I'm really into this stuff.
But the fact that Man-Bat has just learned that anybody can do magic if you have the intent. Like, all magic is will personified to alter reality.
I can't wait till we get a Green Lantern doing some magic.
Well, but that's kind of always what Alan Scott was. His the Green Flame was always more magical.
It was
science-based. So I like that it's tying back into, you have Fate, and now you have that there. There are ties. We don't have the Justice Society there yet, but I feel like there's stuff there.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I don't like this as much as the last issue. I think the last issue for me was kind of my perfect issue, Justice League Dark. This issue is kind of a mix of that with the things that I'm not as into. Like, I don't really care about the larger magic world of the DCU that much.
I still really like this issue a lot, and I'm much more into that magic side of it. It's not as strong an issue as last time, though, because last time was a phenomenal issue. Yeah,
last issue was the best issue of the book. And
easily.
It might be a while before it's topped, if ever. So,
yeah.
So there's a lot to live up to. But no,
as the start of a new arc, I'm into it.
I do like though that 2 issues we spent with Mirror, which I wasn't super into. I liked that it at least served a purpose in that Mirror's functioning in this plot again.
It feels relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can kind of appreciate that, even if I wasn't into that 2 issue arc that much at the time. Yeah, and obviously Martinez is on the art still, so the art's as consistent as it's been.
Yeah, lots of double page spreads.
Lots of double page layouts, lots of dark shadows, that kind of thing. It's what it's been, which is good because it's been good art. It's been good art since the start of the book, so that's not a complaint. So so what are you giving it, Matt?
I'm gonna give this. Do I do it? No, I'll give this an 8.5. I was gonna go 9, but because I really did enjoy this issue, but I'm gonna rein myself in. All right, Connor.
I'm also going with an 8.5.
I'm going with a 7. I'm a little bit, just not as into the Fate stuff and the magic stuff in Papa Shango face. So
Papa Shango, how dare you, sir?
That's what made me think of when he said Papa Midnight. I just thought of Papa Shango.
Yeah, well that's what Papa Shango was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He was a voodoo dude.
Yeah. I'm going to go let a cat in somewhere, but I will introduce this book before I go so you can start talking about it. Next up, The Batman Who Laughs, issue 3, Scott Snyder and Jock. How did you feel about this one?
I'll let Matt go first. I sense he has opinions.
Yeah. This is more of Snyder I don't like. I'm gonna see this through because it's Snyder and Jock, and
it's a mini.
It's a mini. I'm sure it's gonna have reverberations, but I don't like where it's going. I don't like a lot of the stuff that happens in it. If I wasn't on the show, I would probably quit reading it just because.
I really like large sections of this book.
I like the ideas. I don't like how they're being executed. I like the idea that they're bringing in these alternate Bruce Waynes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, mustache Bruce Wayne who fought the Penguin by having a rival casino.
Yeah, again, the whole Infinite Earths, I get it, but I am also married to the 52 Earths. So this whole idea of the Dark Multiverse is just the Infinite Earths.
I think Matt's wife would really be interested in that last sentence.
Well, she knows.
She's the
she knows what
mistress.
I'm about.
The 52 Earth is the real wife.
Yes. So like, it's Snyder getting his cake and eating it too, which is fine. But like, again, just constantly the Batman Who Laughs always winning.
No, I agree. I wasn't keen on the last third or so of the issue.
That last
section.
day, like, so I thought Detective upset me, right? I'm just like, oh, geez. I got to this, I'm just like, what is even going on?
Mm-hmm.
I really like the first 2/3 though. All the stuff with Junior and the other Batman whose name I'm forgetting with the guns.
Grim Knight.
Grim Knight. Yeah. All that stuff I really liked. I thought that was really well done. Art's fantastic. Great sequences. The Gordons being like, yeah, look, whether or not is he cured, isn't he? Should we leave him this way? The idea that we're pushing him back to being worse, and just because we need it right now, but it's going to be a bigger problem in the future.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
I just also how hackneyed it is. I'm not here for that Gordon. I'm here for the other one. Like that's been the last 5 years in movies. Like I expect a little bit more from Snyder.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I won't defend that particular line of dialogue.
Yeah,
and then all the Cobblepot stuff was a bit rough.
Yeah. So he was explaining the loaded dice, right? So it's not his casino's crooked as all shit, right?
Yeah.
That's what he was saying. Okay. Just the way that it was worded and stuff, it made it seem like
the loaded dice just means that the chance of the better number coming out is less and less.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying, like, I didn't know if they had found loaded dice that looked like his dice, or if he was telling them.
No,
he was complaining
it should be loaded, but this is normal.
He's complaining that they've been testing the loaded dice and it's still just 50. It's the chance of any number is just equal when it shouldn't be. It should be the one should be the most likely number all times.
Right.
Yeah. So I kind of hated this issue. I hated the ending. Well, see, even the stuff with Gordon Jr., like, I wasn't super into this idea of he's got a cure that's kind of made him normal. Like, I wasn't really feeling that.
But it's chemicals. It's pills.
Yeah, it's not like some supernatural. It's like no, it's medication.
Yeah,
this works for me.
Yeah, I don't think I like that much.
He created James Jr., right? Like Snyder's that's his character. So that's troubling.
Well, the character may have technically existed as Gordon's
He made him as a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. James Jr. as we enjoy him, as he showed up in Batgirl and in Birds of Prey. And, I just...
Also, this does not jive with the last time we saw him in Batgirl at all, which wasn't that long ago.
At all. So this is going to come down to basically that James Jr. has to be a hero by being a bigger psycho than the Batman Who Laughs, right? That's the only pathway this is leading us to.
Well, no, it's leading us to the Batman has to be a bigger psycho than the Batman Who Laughs.
But see, I feel that's the sort. Also, that mask might look cool. It is completely impractical. Like, he's taking his field of vision away.
Oh, the space.
Yeah, I figured this Bruce would.
Well, yeah. Well, hold on. We have to explain what actually happens here at the end of the book, right? So Batman basically goes, oh yeah, my way never works. I always lose against the Batman Who Laughs. So I guess I'm just going to have to become him. And he, and Alfred's coming in to the cave because he's been locked out of the regular entrance. He comes round to the old one, and he comes in, and Bruce is turning white, and the final page is him with the spiked mask on. He's let himself become Jokerified, and I'm done. I'm not reading the rest of this. I don't want to read any more of this. I'm done.
Well,
I hate it. I hate this with a passion.
No, that's fair. When you got up, I told Connor that if I wasn't on the show, I would quit reading it. But now I'm halfway through, so I'm going to keep reading it.
I hate it so much. Like everything, like I was like, because I hated the cliffhanger at the end of the first issue, and Connor tried to talk me down a little bit. He was trying to say, just go with it.
Hey, I stand by what I said at that time.
Yeah, this for me was just like everything you feared from that first cliffhanger. Here it is, times 10. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to read any of this. And obviously it's going to be fixed by the end of the arc, so I can just happily ignore this. So
I'm not going to talk you into reading more Batman, Pete.
That's
so
fine.
You're fine.
Good.
This is easily my least favorite of the three. That cliffhanger is my least favorite as well. Also, there was a bit where he stood next to Junior, and he just says Alfred, in his comms. Come on, dude.
Yeah, and I don't even like. I know that he's obviously been affected by the Joker stuff. That's why he's acting so aggressive and whatnot. But I just don't like reading this Batman for the first half of this book. The way he's talking to everyone. I was just kind of getting frustrated with it.
So that's got to be the intention though by Snyder though.
Oh sure, don't get me wrong. It's explainable. It makes sense in context of what's happening. Yeah. I just don't enjoy actually reading it. And
that's fair.
That's a problem. Obviously because Snyder can be a good writer and often is, and because Jock's obviously a great artist. There's been sequences in all three of these issues, especially the first two, where I liked scenes, I like parts of things because they do a good comic book storytelling at times. But conceptually, I think this issue just kind of cemented that I hate what this is doing, and I just don't want to read any more of it. So,
okay. I like 2/3 of this a lot, and then the final third is not the best. I'll be honest. I don't like. I'm not angry in the same way Pete is, though. I was angry at the last page of Detective than I was this.
I don't think I was. I think I hated this more, but I mean, sure, Detective's more disappointing because of I expect better, but
I think part of it's contextual though, as in this is its own mini. This is just doing its own thing, right? Whereas Detective's like, oh, hang on, that's 2 issues away from 1,000. What the hell are we doing? And that was like 5 issues of build. Whereas this is, this has always been potentially where we're going in this story.
And do you know what? I had a lot of books this week. It was 9 books. Like having one less, because this isn't a busy week.
Yeah, I get that.
It's a good week to cut one. And if I'm angry, because I left this till last. I made you guys wait 10 extra minutes because reading Snyder takes longer than most other books.
I thought this one read quite quickly, though. To be honest. By Snyder standards. Especially.
By Snyder standards, sure, but I guess because I wasn't enjoying it, it just felt longer.
Yeah, I thought this one was relatively light. There wasn't a load of huge narration boxes like you can get in Snyder's stuff.
No.
No.
So the art looks great though.
Jock's a great artist. Yeah, the art stuff's solid.
I hate the design of the Batman Who Laughs. I don't understand the metal over the eyes. Like I just don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. In terms of functionality, it's stupid and awful, but I do like the design. It looks good.
I do like that they call him Batgimp at the iceberg.
Yeah.
There's some Batgimps at the door. That was pretty funny.
I like the idea of like Grim Knight saying, "Look, I've blown an engine out of this plane. If you don't give me Gordon, I'm going to blow the rest of them out, and everyone's going to die." Like this scene, like I like the concept of it, but it played weird for me because like I felt like Commissioner Gordon is the sort of guy who, when he realizes it's him that he wants, not his son, that he would be like, you know what? No, I'll give myself up. It's fine. I'll go.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
But it felt weird to me that Batman just kind of stepped aside and let Grim Knight punch him, and I'm like, no, let him have his own agency and just decide to do this. You owe him that much.
No, if this was normal Batman, I would absolutely agree with you. But we're playing with the semi-Joker eyes at that point.
No, again, I agree that it's technically it's justified in what's going on. It's just
contextually it's fine.
Compared to some of the other Dark Knights that we've gotten, I feel like the Grim Knight should be a hero. Like say what you will about the Punisher, he's mostly
No, I think that's kind of how they're playing it. There's that line where it's, my Gotham has no crime, no Joker, no Penguin, no Riddler.
Yeah, but he's working with the Batman Who Laughs. Like that should be antithetical to the Grim Knight. Like the Batman Who Laughs, like when he came up to the Grim Knight should have popped him right between the eyes.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a good reason that we don't know about.
Well, the one shot's next month, the Grim Knight one shot, so maybe
that'll explain it a bit. Yeah,
that'll do it.
I probably won't read it though. If I'm giving up on this, there's no point in me reading that.
That's fair.
So, yeah. I hate to be such a downer on a book, but I mean, like that's why I'm going to stop reading it because, like when I get to this stage where I'm just raving about how much I hate it, then that's it. It's time to throw in the towel. Matt, what will you give it?
This was a 5.5. Like the art is mainly what's doing it for me there.
Yeah, 5.5, not 5 by 5.
No,
because that's the phrase, right? 5 by 5. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't know why it means that, but it does. Do you
you're whole. You're the whole piece. You're 5 by 5.
That's the whole piece.
Like, everything's going well.
Okay.
I would never go. Even though you said, it's a whole piece.
Hey, Pete, where was the first place you heard that term?
Matt, what are you doing?
Well, it just so happens that a character named Faith used to say it all the time on the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, that was an LD.
Every time that's in a comic or in a TV show, I think, oh, this is the time. This is the time Pete's using it as a reference.
Connor, do you know any time Avengers has been on? Because it's been on a lot on cable right now. I have to stop myself by going, I still can't believe this is Joss Whedon, who created the hit television show. It just auto plays in my brain, and it's.
I love it. I love the idea that some of our audience have the same thing, where they can't think of anything that Joss Whedon has done without hearing the rest of that sentence in their head.
It's fine. Pete's infected actual journalists.
Oh, that's right. This week, Matt, there was a news story in the TV news, right, about this vampire show from Israel that's getting remade. And the way it was phrased on, I think, Variety it actually said in the opening line, the hit vampire show from Israel is being remade. Really
yeah. What Connor rate this?
Give it a 6. I like it a little bit more than you.
Wow.
Just a touch.
Oh, how turned the tables have.
I will give it a 4, although 2 of that is for the art. This would not be getting that high if it wasn't for the art. I hated it. So, we'll move on to Titans, issue 34, Dan Abnett writing with Bruno Redondo on the art. So me and Matt are reading this. And obviously we're getting near the end now, because the last issue is coming in March or April. Is April's the last issue? I don't know, we're the last few. Maybe 2 more left tops. So this is obviously the last arc that we're getting of the book. This was an okay issue. I've been, I've been enjoying this well enough. Obviously, we've been liking the new team. I liked the last issue a lot more because it was all the fun stuff with making the Lord of the Rings references and all that stuff. Yep. This one was mostly the villain monologuing a bit, and
some bolts.
Yeah, and the guy who created this world, the writer, realizing that the villain's evil and being like, I'm going to fix this with my creator powers.
I do love him and Travis. He puts it together. And then Travis has what looks like a crisis of conscience where, oh man, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this. And he goes, no, it's my fault. It was poor writing. It was shallow.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't sell enough books. I loved that part.
Because he says, I wrote you to be deceitful and nothing else. Right? And so that's why that's all you are. And then, surprise, surprise, Travesty stabs him in the back when he's confronting Mother Blood. Right between the ribs. Yeah. So we end there. Otherwise, Kyle and Natasha are they've got them tied into the red, and they're trying to use the red.
Bleed.
Yeah, into the bleed, and they're trying to figure out how to use this and fight back. And the Raven clone's up to no good. She ends up attacking the rest because the rest of the team, honestly, they're just fighting some armies for a while, and Miss Martian blasts them at one point, and that's basically it. I feel
there's 3 Ravens. There's 3 Ravens running around. You have Commander Lenore, you have the Soul Self that's somehow transparent but bound.
Yes.
And then there's our Raven, who's kind of a liability because she really can't do anything.
Yes.
It's...
You get a Raven, and you get a Raven, and you get a Raven. Yeah.
That said, I do feel like by the time Abnett's done, he's going to fix Beast Boy. I feel that's what's going to happen with this Red. Probably, is because we saw Mother Blood, Kate, take control of him again. And I just feel like with the power of the Red being what it is, I feel like that fixing the, multiversal energy or the source energy. That's what it was, the source energy. But yeah, it was kind of just a nuts and bolts issue. It was fine. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't amazing, That I did like the creator stuff, though. That really cracked me up with, I wonder how many comic creators can look at some of their creations and have the same talk with them.
Yeah, I honestly, there's very little to talk about in this issue. I think it's very much just the villains in charge and the heroes. If anything, I'd probably complain that maybe there's not enough advancement in it. And I don't mind it being decompressed, but I don't even feel like it focused on something that was interesting to focus on too much.
Yeah, we know what she's doing. We know what Mother's doing. We had a whole issue of her. So let's get with the heroes doing the hero stuff.
It's probably one of the weakest issues of the run since it got good.
Yeah,
basically, which is a shame. But I mean, it just kind of is what it is. Especially when we only got a couple left. It's you kind of want everyone to be a winner at this point, but it's just okay.
Yeah,
So it's a solid like 6 out of 10, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd go a little higher, but I grade higher too. I give it a 7.
You guess, but you give it a 7.
Yeah.
But we'll leave it there. I think there's much to add about this one, honestly.
No.
So I'll take you guys on to Hawkman number 9, which is Robert Venditti writing with Bryan Hitch on the art. So
God, am I being drafted back in already?
Yeah, take it.
You are tagging you in. Quick tag, Lucha Libre style.
Was quick.
I'll just do a little flip then, inshallah. Put on my gimp mask and flip around for a bit.
Pete, last night in not your neck of the woods, but on your guys' island over there, they had the bastard Pac versus Will Ospreay. So talk about flips and tricks and stuff.
Don't worry, Connor. I don't know any of these words either. It's fine. This is.
Yes, you do.
This makes a change.
Pac. No, yes, you do. Pac is Neville. Yeah.
Oh, Neville. Okay, I know who Neville is. All right.
Yeah.
I know that was his name outside of.
That was his. Yeah, that's what he originally went by.
Okay, yes.
But him against another flippy wrestler. Look up Will Ospreay. Want to see some cool flippy shit. But I'm sure that match was nothing but flips and jumps and
flips. Yes.
But
flippy
jumping up high, taking flight, much like Hawkman.
Yes, take it away. What happened to Hawkman this week? As I go get a snack.
Yeah, Connor, what happened this week?
So we're back in London. We're back to Man Xanadu. Carter's gone to visit. He's like, right, okay. I kind of figured out what happened. Way back in that first issue. First issue? I think it was first issue.
Yeah, it was around that.
Yeah. And it's like, right, you've got to connect me to all my past selves. When I need to bring them here. I did it with the Kryptonian one briefly.
Yep. He was
it can
here
be done.
with me.
Yeah.
And I love how he tells her, I was on Krypton. Like, there's some strange things going on here.
I love how she doesn't even, take a second beat.
No. Probably my
like,
favorite moment, though, is the dude rushes into the shop and is like, we're being invaded, which in the DC universe, this must be like every Thursday. Something like this happens. And she just turns around and does a spell and makes him forget. And he kind of forgets who he is and where he is and what he's doing.
Yeah, it's because he sees Carter transform into Hawkman.
Into Hawk, yeah. But I'm just like, imagine being this dude and you in a magic shop and now you don't know why, and then you go outside because you don't know you're being invaded. Like, what type of stress that's going to cause?
Yeah.
The second time through. And then so Hawkman flies up there because
the Deathbringers are up there.
Yeah, there's just 3 of them, and they're in these big, huge,
big,
looking like Celestials. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh no,
those
are
things
the
we've been seeing all season, all series.
Yeah, but we find out those are the Deathbringers, and they unleash a legion of Hawks.
I would say 3 legions, a legion from each.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, a legion's actually an set number, isn't it? Really?
I think so. Whatever the Roman legion were,
yeah.
I think that's the base number. But anyways, it is like a disaster of biblical proportions. Like, this is what I imagine Bible stories of fallen angels look like.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if it's going to tie into that.
It feels like a plague, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the way he was talking about being their leader and being Katar, and he's kind of fallen and he's gained a conscience. No, I'm not a Bible scholar. I'm an agnostic atheist. But it feels like stories that I've heard.
I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. It is very much kind of a reverse fallen angel situation. Where the rest of them are the righteous ones still.
Yeah. Well, and it feels like if he was their leader, if let's call him their Lucifer, right? And he's been enlightened, and now imagine Lucifer having to go to war with every other angel.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what this is. And he goes up there, and man, he is. There's tons of them, and they all look like him. Like, I've never seen this many Hawks.
It looks fantastic.
Yeah, credit to Hitch here. Like,
and they're all in different poses as well, so it's not like they're just copy and pasted.
No, not traced from one another. And then his old buddy shows up with his double razor staff.
Yeah, it done.
It
damn.
And oh man. So I'm wondering if this resurrection thing is going to go, but he talks about that they've been hunting Earth, like not Earth, that they've been hunting Carter through, and they never thought he'd come to Earth. But now that he has, and now they demand tribute, and Idam got Carter on the ropes.
Yeah, it ends with him down. He's got him by the neck with his big staff spear kind of at the ready. This issue flew in. This was so quick because it's 90% action.
Yep.
But it looks fantastic. The page, that double page spread where the 3 giant Deathbringers show up and they're just hovering above London.
Yep.
It's
invasion movie. It's alien invasion look. The one that got me more was when all of the Deathbringers come out.
Oh yeah, when they open up and the army flies out.
I actually went, oh holy shit, because I love Carter. Like this is Venditti like at his best. I feel because he's pulling that reaction out of me. Because up there, I'm a lot like Carter going, oh well, there's just 3. Like how hard could this be? And then you turn the page, and out comes the swarm, and you're like, oh okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
So, but yeah, I did notice in the solicits that there's a thing coming up that they kind of hint at here. So I'm very excited for that.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not going to spoil it for people that don't want to be spoiled.
But if you want to look at the solicits, you can go and be excited.
Yeah. So, and I'm just wondering how that's going to play in. You know, what we're actually going to get to see. You know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
There's a lot to pull from there.
There is. Really good issue though. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I'm going to go with a 0.5.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to go with 8.5 as well. So, yeah, Hawkman's clicking.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not very tuned. Stall for like 10 seconds.
Well, we weren't paying attention to you. We didn't know you were being a greedy bastard. Whose fault is this, you unprofessional dick?
Like you're not thinking about dinner already. You're thinking about what's
I'm absolutely starving, but that's not the point.
I saw a window, I took it. All right? I saw a window, I took it. All right, so we got one book left. We have Wonder Twins issue 1 by Mark Russell, Stephen Byrne on the art. Start of the new miniseries, part of the Wonder Comics line, the 3rd book of the 4 that we're getting.
First one I've read.
First one Connor's read because Bendis isn't writing it. And I hadn't really no exposure to the Wonder Twins before this.
Yeah, Wonder Twin powers activate.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I've seen them. A couple of episodes of like Teen Titans and Teen Titans Go, stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and they've always been a punchline just because their powers are so like
limited.
She can turn into any animal. He can turn into water in a form, and it's so weird. And they replaced Wendy and Marvin, who were just kind of pointless anyways. So at least they could do stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's basically them at school. It's the first I don't know if it's the first couple of days, but they're trying.
It's the first day at this school.
Yeah, they're getting used to the school. It's like they're telling people about their history because it's like tell people about your ancestors or whatever day at school, and he ends up telling this story about how when there's a storm on their planet, like everyone gets horny. And
a thunderstorm.
A thunderstorm, yes. Which leads to the wonderful phrase "thunderlust" that comes
Better
up
than
there.
bloodlust.
Better than bloodlust, yeah. Which honestly, my favourite stuff in the book was probably when he was embarrassed about this, and then Wonder Woman finds out about it, and she like turns around to like Superman when he walks in and goes, "Oh, he's got the thunderlust."
I loved everything in this book, barring one thing. Mm-hmm. There's one thing that didn't feel right, and that was Batman.
Oh, the story about these past.
Yeah. That felt particularly un-Batman. Even if it happened, which again feels un-Batman in itself, but it feels un-Batman to share it.
Yeah, it feels like something that I can't see it happening post the Wayne's death. If it was before the Wayne's death, which it seems like he would be too young for it.
Yeah, he's too old for that.
But it feels weird that he would be making stupid love letters like after his parents' death, just because Batman. But not in the traditional because Batman way.
Yeah.
This is such an odd book.
But it's delightful.
I just, with the way that it is, and this is the guy that did the Flintstones. I had a maxi series, I guess it was only 12 issues, which makes me want to check that out now. Just because of the tone here.
The page where Superman's explaining the function of the Hall of Justice, the hub, that was just delightful. Them all showing up for the mugger, and then Black Lightning being the one for the sea monster.
He's explaining they don't want to all dispatch to the same crime if they're not needed. It's just a panel of like the entire main Justice League team with one guy with like some diamonds like coming out of a window and like, really guys, all of you.
Yeah.
That stuff was funny. There was the odd joke that felt a little bit forced, like Superman saying, "Oh, we mainly just used the supercomputer to play music." Like, don't get me wrong, I like the payoff to that later on when the twins asked the computer to do something, and they're like, sorry, I can't really do that. Would you like to hear some Philip Glass? That was a good payoff. I did laugh at that, but the setup with Superman saying, "Oh, we mostly just listen to music," felt a little bit forced. But I mostly had fun. Like, it feels inconsequential in the grand scheme of things, but it feels like it's a decent little fun read that was making me chuckle here or there.
Yeah, and Byrne's art is great. It's perfect for this book tonally.
Yep, matches the tone.
It does almost feel though it should just be out continuity. I don't know if this needs to be in continuity with everything else.
No,
I don't think it really matters. Yeah. Because it's not going to have any impact or anything with it being in continuity.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's stuff like the Batman thing, whereas that'd probably be less of a problem if it was just out of continuity. Because okay, so this is like wacky cartoon Batman because they're all cartoon versions.
Yeah, but I would love to see Superman call him BG in another book.
Yeah, just call him BG. Yeah. I even Wonder Woman being like, "I'm underwhelmed" when she hears what the powers are. And I'm like, you're throwing Beast Boy under the bus here, because technically his power is that he can turn into animals here.
Yeah, but he doesn't need to tag anybody to do it.
That's true.
That's what I was going to say. He can just do it.
This is true. So, no. But I had decent fun with it. What are you giving it, Matt?
Yeah, it's a 7.5. Like it's so odd, but it's so enjoyable. Tone's kind of what it should be for these characters. So yeah.
Connor?
I had such a blast. I'm giving it a 9.
Whoa!
I love this sort of book where it's just like, just screw it, just have fun.
Pete, imagine him reading Young Justice. Like,
I know,
it would completely blow his mind.
Yeah, but this has dialogue that I like.
So I will get. Batman admitting he wrote a love song based on the BJ song.
Yeah, no, I said that was the one thing I didn't like. That's why it's not more.
Now I'm imagining Batman walking down in full costume. You can tell by the way he walks his walk. He's a woman's man. No time to talk. I'm imagining him walking down the street to that now.
Now, see, I'm imagining Will Arnett's Lego Batman singing that. There we go.
Oh, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Staying alive, because I don't kill people. Staying alive. All right. Okay.
Saving that guy.
Read the
Dressing
Batman
in black, maybe some dark grey.
Yeah. Read some Batman lyrics for the Bee Gees now. That's the thing. I keep saying Bee Gees. Bee Gees.
Yeah.
Anyway, I give it an 8.
There's a joke. There's a joke there. Pete's got the thunderlust.
Oh dear. Actually, isn't the way that Wonder Woman phrases it when Batman and Superman cries like, "Oh, he became a man today," and Batman's like, "Oh, that's good news, I guess."
Yeah.
Weird. So, well, fun. All right. That takes us on to the part of the show now where we pick our favourite stuff of the week, favourite panel/moment, favourite art, favourite cover, and top 5 books of the week. So, Matt, what is your panel/moment?
So it comes from Hawkman. It's the one that actually made me go holy shit as I was reading it, and it's when all of the Deathbringers pour out of the ships, and they look like a plague. It's just. Man,
Plague of Hawks. Yeah, it's a great panel.
Connor?
I was very tempted to go with the other one from Hawkman that I talked about in that book, but I'm going to go from that sequence in Wonder Twins with the function of the Hall of Justice.
Okay, that's pretty solid. I have to go with the last page of Superman. That reveal made me go holy shit. So, and not in a bad way like the Detective Comics one did. So
true.
So I'm giving it up to that Crime Syndicate reveal. What was your cover of the week, Matt?
This one's tough.
There's so many good covers this week.
But I'm going with Supergirl's Lupacino. It's a great the variant, I should say.
The Supergirl variant's really good. As much as I didn't like the book, the Batman Who Laughs variant is very, very good.
Federici, yeah.
Yeah, Federici's.
You got Gary Frank's detective variant.
Yeah, I know, but that's cheating. Like, he's,
The Art Gem Wonder Woman one is fantastic too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go with the Batman Who Laughs variant. As much as I hated the book, that's a really good cover.
All right. Well, I'll take Gary Frank then, just because someone's got to.
Yes.
True.
Best art of the week, Matt.
Supergirl. Really, really enjoyed that art.
I'm looking down the list of books again to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's between Supergirl, Justice League Dark.
Yeah, those are the two I came down to. I mean, I kind of, Byrne for Wonder Twins, but that's such a, it's such a different tone. It almost feels like a comic strip, compared to the others.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I'll go with Supergirl as well. I think Supergirl, I was impressed with that, because I think I was expecting to be like, oh, it's different artists, it's probably going to be slightly less than usual. I was like, no, it's actually really good. And,
this is good.
Yeah. So it's close though. It's close though between two or three of them this week. Connor.
Hawkman. Hitch knocked out the park on this one.
There you go. Hitch
Yeah,
winning awards.
Top three. I know.
Yeah.
All right then. So top 5 books of the week. Matt, what you got?
All right. So I can't remember my scores. I just kind of loosey-gooseyed them. So this will be my average approximation here. 1's gonna be Supergirl. 2 is Superman. 3 is Justice League Dark. 4 is Hawkman, and 5 is Flash.
Cool.
I think that's the order.
Connor, what you got?
Wonder Twins. Then Hawkman, Justice League Dark. Wonder Woman, Flash. Yeah, I'll do.
That'll do.
Enthusiasm.
I really like my top 3, and then after that, it's like, they're all right.
All right. Number 1, Detective Comics. No. I don't know why I picked that one as a joke answer. The joke would be Batman Who Laughs for me, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, my number 1 is Supergirl. Number 2 is Superman. Number 3 is Wonder Twins. Number 4 is Wonder Woman. And then number 5 is Justice League Dark. There you go. On the top 5.
Okay.
So yeah, go. That's a pretty decent spattering of books this week. So by all means, and of course I have to confess I did forget to ask people on Twitter what book they liked this week. So
way to go!
Shoddy work.
I know.
Shambles from start to finish this show.
I know. Hey, Shambles is our brand.
Only because
That's
of
a
you.
shirt. That is a shirt.
That is a shirt. That is a good shirt, actually.
Yeah.
Shambles is our brand. Also, I hate the idea that Connor thinks that if he was running things, that it would be any less of a shambles.
Hey, you got no proof that it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I didn't proof that it would be.
Don't need to. But burden of proof is on Pete. You have to prove something.
Hermione Granger taught me burden of proof's on the believer, not on the denier.
So here's the thing.
Yeah, and I believe that it would be better. So.
And so which means the burden of proof's on you. So.
But he also believes that it would be better under him.
No. I don't believe that it would be better under you. So the burden of proof's on you.
Okay.
I believe. There's one way to settle this, but none of us want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
No, I think ultimately Pete wouldn't even let me try. So it's a moot point.
Here's the beautiful thing, though. I have heard from many of our audience, and I am convinced that they believe themselves that Connor would do a terrible job, because Connor has earned himself a reputation.
Ginger
I have
degrader.
no reputation.
Ginger degrader, Ginger drunk's one of them, Ginger menace.
I get drunk once a week, and it's because of the CW shows, and they all know it.
I don't know. Showing up for a 4-hour stream blind drunk that one night was not necessarily the best way to disprove that.
You mean right after we did Flash and Arrow?
They didn't know that.
They did.
Well,
They were told
they do
explicitly
now.
that is why I was drunk.
All right. But yeah, so that's pretty much the show. That is episode 142 of Comics from the Multiverse. So No. So hopefully next week.
What's next week?
Yeah, we'll do that in a second. But hopefully next week we have deceased news, and hopefully we have some cheerier news. I think because I feel like a lot of the news at the start of this was a bit more negative, and I hate to
we
drag
should
down
have
things.
solicits in general, so we might have something in there.
Oh yeah, like 5 cancellations. I'm looking forward to it. It's all doom and gloom.
News is news.
Bendis has been
no
fired.
Such thing as bad news.
Bendis has been fired. He's been replaced with Zack Snyder, who's trying a comic book for the first time.
Sure. I went up and down in that story so much. Roller coaster.
Matt didn't even react. Matt's doing his taxis or something.
Yeah, I'm trying to fix the thing that's going on with my phone.
There you go.
So,
all right. So what's coming next week then? Next week,
nothing.
Is week 3. It's a quiet week. We have Batman 65. We have Justice League 18. We have Shazam issue 3, Aquaman 45, and Naomi issue 2.
We don't have Shazam.
No, Shazam get pushed? You kidding me?
No Shazam. Yep.
That hurts.
No, it's a very small week.
In that case, we will definitely have questions next week. So look out on the Twitters and even the comments for this video. If you want to ask questions there, we'll answer a bunch of questions next week.
I'm pretty sure there's a total of like 5 books next week between us.
It's 4.
Aquaman, Batman, Catwoman, Justice League.
Oh, Catwoman's out next week now. Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got Aquaman. We got Aquaman 45, Catwoman 8, Justice League 18.
Did Sideways
get 2.
pushed next week?
Yeah, and that's it.
No, it's not.
Nightwing 57, but no one's reading that.
No. Well, unfortunately, actually, Tyler is making both me and Connor read Nightwing, starting with issue 52 next week, because that's where we left off. Yeah. So we'll do punishment issues next week, but we'll do questions.
Yes.
But we only have 5 actual new books, so questions.
Easy week.
Yeah, questions for sure. So yeah, cool.
Could have really done with Doomsday Clock being that week, couldn't we?
Well, it was for a while. There was a 2 week period.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. There was a 2 week period, but that was the Doomsday Clock week. But hey ho.
Yeah.
Questions. It'll be
2 weeks is a long time when it comes to Gary Frank's delays.
All right, that is what's coming next week. So thank you very much for joining us and listening to us rant and rave and whatnot about comic books and DC Comics. You can let us know what you think of the books from this week in the comments below. Like and subscribe, that does help us, of course, but not as much as going over to patreon.com/MailedFuzzTV and signing up for as little as $1 per month to our Patreon. At the $5 tier, you get the monthly bonus episode with me and Connor doing a trade or a collection of some kind, and we just did one. We just put Doom Patrol Book 1 by Grant Morrison. That episode just went up the other day, so that's there. Just in time for the show.
Do we have a winner for the vote of what the next one is?
Oh, we do indeed. We actually do, because the vote ended yesterday for the next monthly episode, which is going to be Batman Court of Owls. So that's what we're going to do. That complete 11-issue arc from the start of the New 52. So we'll be doing that. That's technically February's episode, but that'll be coming probably right at the start of March because Connor's on vacation for a week.
I am, yeah.
So
I'll probably read it while I'm away though. Plain reading, innit?
So you can have a look see at that. But other than that, you can get some merchandise. There's links in the description to both the US and the UK stores. If you want to go buy a Constant Multiverse hoodie or shirt or hat or something else weird, by all means, go and have a look. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. Oh, guys on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. I should tell that one.
Yeah.
But that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Shambles.